Thank you, councillors. On behalf of the Glenelg Shire, I respectfully acknowledge the traditional lands and waters of the Gunditjmara people and their respective cultural heritages. I acknowledge the elders past and present here at today's gathering and through them to all Aboriginal people. Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people provide an important contribution to Australia's cultural heritage and identity. We respectfully acknowledge the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander community living throughout the Glenelg Shire and the contribution they make to the Glenelg Shire's prosperity and well-being. The recording of the meetings. To those present in the gallery today, by attending the public meeting of Council, you are consenting to your image, voice and comments being recorded and published. Council meetings may be live streamed and the Chief Executive Officer will enable a copy of the recordings to the public. Receipt of apologies. There are none for this evening. Councillors, number 5.1 is the confirmation of the minutes of the last meeting. Is somebody... Thank you, Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll move the motion that the minutes of the council meeting held on the 28th of April 2026 as circulated be confirmed.
Thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Angelino. Any comment, Councillor McDonald?
No, thank you, Madam.
Straightforward. Moved by Councillor McDonald, second by Councillor Angelino. Those in favour? Thank you. We'll move on to 5.2, record of councillor briefings. Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll move the motion that council receives the record of the councillor briefing held on the 28th of April 2026, 5th of May 2026, the 12th of May 2026 and the 19th of May 2026.
Thank you. Councillor Jarrett, you're seconding?
Thank you.
Thank you. Any commentary, Councillor McDonald?
No, thank you.
Councillor Jarrett.
Yes, thank you, Madam Mayor. Just wanted to let people know that if they want to know what councillors are up to behind closed doors, I highly recommend that they have a look at what we get up to in their briefing records. This gives a window into the subjects that are being discussed.
Thank you. That's not what we're getting on to, the items we're discussing. Thank you, Councillor Jarrett. The motion has been put by Councillor McDonald and second by Councillor Jarrett. Those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Conflicts of interest in tonight's papers, Councillor Laws. Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Item 9.2, the community funding and support policy. One of the suggested changes impacts the Portland Football Netball Cricket Club, which I'm an active life member of. And item 12.2 in the confidential section in relation to the Port of Portland rating agreement. The Port of Portland is my employer.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Any further conflicts of interest? There are no more. Thank you. Councillors, we'll move on to item 7, which is the councillor activity reports for the month of April. Can I start with you, Deputy Mayor, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. It was another packed month with between our briefings, our council meetings, and the Anzac Day services. But the ones I want to draw attention to, if I can find my page here, sorry. There it is. I attended the dawn service here in Portland, took part in the march with the return service members and was in attendance for the dawn service. There were many hundreds of people that were there for this solemn service. I also attended the Anzac Day service in Nelson. There was a crowd of over 75 people, which is a commendable achievement for a town of that size, as well as 3 dogs. I attended their morning tea at the local CFA and I met with many members of the Nelson community. Then came back and went to the Anzac Day service at the football match between Portland and Hamilton, which I believe some other councillors will speak to. And I think that's about it for me.
Thank you, Councillor Jarrett. Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I attended the Autism Acceptance Month movie screening at the Portland Arts Centre again this year, and it was a huge turnout. Council continues to play a vital role in this space, promoting inclusivity and advocating for the rights of people with autism and supporting their families and friends and carers. fresh popcorn was obviously a highlight for everyone involved. But yeah, it was a really huge turnout, which was great. Just want to focus on the Easter weekend in Portland. Markets everywhere. Easter Bunny was out and about, and the launch of 3RPC's new look secondhand book music store was very popular. But the fabulous new addition is the Makers and Growers Market, which the Narrawong community organised, and it was absolutely incredible. It was so diverse, it was huge, the weather was perfect, the activities for children were just extraordinary. The venue was just an absolute treat. So congratulations to Doreen Symes and her committee, and I've already been informed that this is on Narrawong's calendar for next year, so that's great news. The Portland Football Netball Club's 150th. It was a very sentimental trip down memory lane for many ex-players and current players, administrators and supporters. And it demonstrated once again that Portland's weather cannot dampen the spirits and planned activities that were happening right across that weekend. So congratulations to the organisers for that one. Just one other one. The face-to-face visit by members from the Victorian Grants Commission enabled them to get a first-hand feel for our Shire, and it also provided councillors and executive staff with a really clear understanding of how the state government funding is strategically calculated to support the different needs of each region. So that was really interesting. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you very much. Councillor Pepper.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. For the month, my highlight was attending Anzac Day services. I believe that it's very important, and it's good to see that so many people do still follow this tradition and keep going so that future generations can learn. Started at Digby at the dawn service along with yourself there, Madam Mayor, and there was a lot of people in attendance there, and it was really good. And nice little chatter in the hall afterwards, and went on to Caston, and Caston crowd unfortunately may have been down just a smidgen on last year. Anzac Day being a Saturday, Caston Sanford Football Netball Club were playing away across the border, so there was probably a few that weren't there, but it was still well attended and a good march and a good day, and I'm so happy to be able to attend these Anzac Day things and keep going. So thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Pepper. Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, Anzac Day service here in Portland was the highlight for me. I think Jim Flood and the RSL Portland sub-branch, they do an absolutely fantastic job. The floral display, the engagement that they get from the community, to see such a large number of primary school and even secondary school kids attend that service. There was a fantastic welcome to country done by Braden Saunders, who was honoured last week, and also we heard from Ellen Linky in relation to her service. It was a really good Anzac Day ceremony here in Portland, and looking forward to next year's.
How did the football go?
Football was fantastic. You know, it's such an honour to have approval from the Portland RSL sub-branch to play on such a day, and it's always good to beat the Hamilton Kangaroos, who are the Southern Branch. They're our traditional rivals within the Hampton Football Netball.
There's no
League.
rivalry there, though, is there?
No, yes there is.
Yes, there is.
So it's made the day even better, you know. Councillor Pepper's quite close to the Hamilton Kangaroos. Anyway, all good.
It was good that both of you could be there on the day to see Hamilton and Portland play off against each other. Well done to both of you. Councillor Angelino.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Starting Josh Pike, he came to visit Portland Seaman. It was a great night. It was another packed event for locals to go and hear some great music and hear some of their stories. The Mayor and me, myself, went to the CFA Region 4 AGM, and that was in Merino. My late father, has a perpetual award for the CFA group, which location, and has the best record for training in that year. And this year it was donated, or it was voted that Homerton, which is a small area, has about 5 or 6 members of the fire brigade, and they are trying, like all the other groups in this in our area, that volunteers are very necessary, and they are striving to keep that location open as a CFA venue. So that was good. We went to that and meet other CFA members. Also, the Anzac Day service in Hayward. It was. There was a speaker from the Hamilton, and he wrote a story about all his family and what they went through in wars. And I think that a lot of people, the history and the stories aren't told when people do come back from war. And there was children from the local primary school, secondary school, that wrote stories, partake, and actually sang the New Zealand national anthem, the Australian national anthem, and it was just a great event for remembering the solemn of these soldiers that went and protected us. So it was another great thing for the community to uphold. That's all. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you. Councillors, I'll just quickly go a few. The first one I attended was the Southwest Community Sports Award in Warrnambool, and it was fabulous to be there to see Glenelg Volunteer of the Year, Leanne Evanston, receive her award, and also the Sports Leader Coach of the Year was Rebel Nota from the Portland Basketball Association. So a couple of really great awards there for community volunteers making a big difference in our community. It was an absolute privilege to go to the Portland Football Netball Club for the 150th anniversary and the celebration, and Councillor Carr, please pass on my thanks to the committee. It was just a fabulous day, and the amount of effort that went into researching and the club's history and their milestones of achievements was amazing how much work had been put into that. And just for the day, I mean, I know how much effort goes into organising these events, so thank you to the committee for that. I also attended in Merino the Volunteer Firefighters Brigade District 4 AGM with Councillor Angelino, and it was interesting to see the head of volunteers from the CFA was there talking about volunteer experience, which was really interesting and how that's changed over time. The Victorian Grants Commission, it was great to profile the Glenelg Shire to the Victorian Grants Commission, trying to hopefully get some more money, but I'm not quite sure whether there is any more money, but just highlighting them the importance of Glenelg and our strategic position within the state and as a border shire, and the threshold that we undertake as having a port and a smelter within our shire. Anzac Day, I attended the dawn service with Councillor Pepper and then Portland here and then Merino. But what I'd like to do is say thank you to all the councillors. We had councillors at every Anzac Day ceremony this year again. And I would just like to extend my thanks to the organisers of these events for their diligence and making sure that the community has an opportunity to focus and reflect on what Anzac Day means to them. So, councillors, thank you for all of your efforts throughout the month of April, and I thank you and on behalf of the community for all you do. Councillors, on page 12 there is a recommendation there. Is somebody prepared to move? Councillor Jowett.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I'd like to move that Council notes the Council activity reports for the 1st of April 2026 to the 30th of April 2026.
Thank you. Seconder, Councillor.
Happy to second, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Any comments, Councillor Jowett?
I think we made quite a few comments.
Thank you.
We don't need any more.
I'll put that motion, moved by Councillor Jowett and second by Councillor Carr. Those in favour? That is carried. Councillors, there are no notices of motion, so we'll move on to management reports number 9.1. It's a licence agreement. Mr Moyne.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Through you, this report relates to a licence agreement for the Hertz rent-a-car counter space located within the airport terminal at the Portland Airport. The current agreement expires on the 30th of June 2026. Hertz has operated from the airport for a number of years and wishes to continue occupying the space. The proposed agreement provides for a new 5-year licence term with an updated annual fee of $1,100 excluding GST, including utilities contribution and annual CPI adjustments. The recommendations for you.
Thank you, Mr Moyne. Are there any questions of councillors? There is a recommendation on page 15, councillors. Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll move the motion that council approves the new 5-year lease licence in its entirety. Thank you.
Thank you. Seconder for that, Councillor Pepper. Councillor McDonald, any comment?
Oh, just to point out, Madam Mayor, that I've just realised that that's not just for people randomly flying in and looking for a car. It's actually for local people that might need to hire a car if they hit a kangaroo.
That's true.
Fabulous.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
Thank you. It's the only car hiring facility we have in the Shire.
Brilliant.
Thank you. Anything further? Councillor Pepper?
No, thank you, Madam Mayor.
Okay, the motion has been put as tabled on page 15 in its entirety by Councillor McDonald and second by Councillor Pepper. Those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. We'll move on to the community funding and support policy. Mr Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Carr has declared a conflict of interest in this matter and has left the chamber. Thank you. Sorry, Mr Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
Tonight I present to Council the community funding and support policy following community consultation and further councillor briefings. The policy was first presented to Council in December 2025 and has since been reviewed based on feedback received from the community consultation process that occurred from the 10th of March through to the 26th of March. Proposed amendments respond to the consultation outcomes and aim to provide clearer information around eligibility, funding scope and reporting requirements, helping community groups better understand the support available through Council's funding programs.
Thank you. Any questions for Mr Jackson, please, councillors?
No, Madam Mayor.
Is someone that's prepared to move a motion? Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'll move the motion that Council 1 adopts the community funding and support policy CPO-CDEV-GE001 in its entirety, and 2 revokes the community funding and support policy CPO-CDEV-GE001 endorsed by Council on the 23rd of July 2024.
Councillor Jowett.
I'd like to second that, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Jowett. Councillor McDonald, comments, please.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to talk about the actual community funding that this Shire provides to our community. It does incredible things in the community, and I think a lot of groups are only just becoming aware of how they can become part of that support funding for their groups. I know a lot of groups are regulars in the program, but it's just great to see the council continuing to support that, and the increase in the amount that will be available, both overall and in terms of the unmatched funds. That will make a huge difference to a lot of our community groups. So, yeah.
It certainly will. Councillor Jowett, did you have anything?
Absolutely. Thank you, Madam Mayor. We've been tinkering with this policy for quite a while now, moving the different levers on different aspects of it, and I think that we finally have these policy settings right. The increases to the grants that have been included have been a great improvement and will give the ability in this new policy to roll funds over from one year to the next if they're unused, which will be a great benefit to the community as a whole. Thank you.
Thank you. Did anybody want to speak against or for it? No? That's fine. Thank you, councillors. Just a reminder to the general public that in our budget for the forthcoming year, there's $210,000 available. The 2 rounds. The first one will be in July of the new financial year, and the second round is generally early in the year, so January, February. So look out, there's going to be another round very, very soon. So for all of our not-for-profit grassroots community groups within the Glenelg Shire are applicable. So have a look at those. So very good. Okay. The motion has been put by Councillor McDonald and second by Councillor Jowett. Those in favour? Is carried. Councillor Pepper, would you like to get Councillor Carr back into the chamber, please? Thank you, Councillor Pepper. Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillors, we'll move on to 9.3, which is strengthening Aboriginal inclusion in the Glenelg Shire, which is our position statement. Mr Jackson.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Strengthening Aboriginal inclusion in the Glenelg Shire 2026-2030, a position statement, commitments and actions is tonight presented to Council for consideration. Building upon over 2 decades of collaborative effort, the statement outlines Council's commitment to continuing to work in partnership with the Aboriginal community to strengthen inclusion, build respectful relationships and support positive outcomes across the Shire over the coming years. It also acknowledges the unique historical context of the Glenelg region and Council's responsibility to ensure this history is understood and shared respectfully within our community. Key priorities also include increasing Aboriginal representation and participation, embedding cultural awareness into council practices and supporting community-led initiatives that promote culture, wellbeing and economic participation.
Thank you, Mr Jackson. Councillor Carr.
I'm happy to move the motion, Madam Mayor.
Thank you.
I'd like to move the motion that Council adopts the Strengthening Aboriginal Inclusion in the Glenelg Shire 2026 to 2030 position statement, commitments and actions.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Seconder, Councillor McDonald. Seconder.
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Councillors, we'll just take a moment now to ensure that the community understands what our position statement is. So I will read what the position statement is for the Glenelg Shire Council. The Glenelg Shire Council acknowledges that we govern and live on the lands of the Gunditjmara, the Jawi Jawi and the Bowen Dick people, who have cared for this country, its lands and waters and the community for countless generations. We pay our respects to their elders past and present, and we honour the strength, resilience and continuing culture of all Aboriginal people across the Glenelg Shire. While colonisation affected all of Australia, Glenelg's historical context carries particular significance. As a council, we acknowledge our responsibility to ensure that this history is truly and respectfully understood and shared. We recognise that Portland holds a substantial moment in the history as the site of Victoria's first permanent European settlement. The Glenelg Shire region was also the site of profound frontier conflicts and dispossession experienced by Gunditjmara clan groups from sealers and whalers leading up to 1834 and subsequent settlers' arrivals beyond this date. These events have had lasting impacts that continue to be felt by Gunditjmara people today. As a council, we have a shared commitment to strengthen how the municipality acknowledges, interprets and presents its history through expanding the use of signage, plaques and public art as important tools to truth-telling. These approaches are effective ways to provide broader historical context, encourage community understanding and ensure that diverse perspectives are recognised. A key priority for us is the adoption of the dual storytelling, particularly as contested or sensitive sites such as monuments or historic locations. This approach enables multiple perspectives to be shared, especially for our Aboriginal community, ensuring a more complete and inclusive representation of history. We support initiatives that use these interpretive methods to foster greater awareness, reflection and learning across the community. As elected members, we favour a case-by-case approach to addressing monuments, contested items or place naming that are considered detrimental. We recognise that the impacts of colonisation are ongoing and reflected in inequalities that are experienced by Aboriginal people across representation, health, education, housing, employment and social outcomes. Addressing these inequalities is a shared civic responsibility, and Council recognises that we have a role to play within this. Councillor Carr, I'll ask you now to start reading our commitment to the community, please.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Recognition of the unique context of the Shire. We acknowledge the true history of the region within the Glenelg Shire, and we commit to truth-telling as a vital step towards awareness, education, recognition and healing. We will work with our Aboriginal community to ensure that stories of resilience and survival are recognised, respected and shared. We commit to continuing fostering spaces and the creation of visible features for remembrance, cultural recognition and education within the Shire through adding layers of meaning and interpretation to relevant sites. We commit to addressing items and aspects that are council owned or managed that cause distress or cultural harm to Gunditjmara traditional owners and Aboriginal people within the Glenelg Shire. Equity, representation and voice. We will actively identify and remove barriers to increase access to council services, opportunities and engagement through updating policies and processes. We will advocate for resources and partnerships to support improved social and emotional wellbeing outcomes and community-led development. We are committed to strengthening Aboriginal voices and will seek guidance from Gunditjmara traditional owners and our Aboriginal community organisations to ensure Aboriginal voices are heard in matters that directly affect them.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Pepper.
Cultural awareness, respect and partnership. We will continue to learn from and with the Gunditjmara people, valuing their knowledge, custodialship and ongoing connection to country, embedding learnings into practice and services where appropriate. We will continue to support and lead partnerships, events and initiatives that strengthen cultural identity, promote economic participation and celebrate Aboriginal culture across Glenelg Shire. Our actions on Aboriginal affairs in Glenelg. Organisational change and accountability. Develop and publish a public accessible report outlining our commitments to our Aboriginal community through our action plan with transparent annual reporting. Commit to cultural competency and anti-racism training for councillors and staff.
Thank you, Councillor Pepper. Councillor Jowett.
Truth-telling and historical acknowledgement. Recognise, commemorate significant sites and stories across the Shire in partnership with the Gundamin Traditional Owners and Aboriginal Corporation, the Word Awurong Elderly and Community Health Service and the Gunditjmara Aboriginal Corporation. Gunditjmara elders, local historians and other identified persons through memorials, signage, public art, awareness, raising and dual storytelling and place naming. Address cultural detrimental items on a case-by-case basis with a view to educate and contextualise by speaking to and visually sharing all parts of local history. Embed local truth-telling into civic spaces within open spaces, significant sites, visitor information centres, tourism materials and public spaces to ensure the full history of local colonisation and Gunditjmara resilience is visible and known. Host truth-telling forums and support community gatherings that bring Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal residents together to reflect, learn and discuss pathways to unity. Significant dates and local historical context. Council recognises that certain dates carry different meanings across our community. Council will continue to support a Gunditjmara community-led event on January 26, which is reflected in the Community Funding and Support Policy. Council recognises November 19 and its significance to as a local date of colonisation, resulting in Victoria's first permanent European settlement at Portland Bay. Council supports using this date as an opportunity for education and dual storytelling about our shared history. Council commits to embedding Aboriginal flag protocols within the flag procedure in consultation with our Aboriginal partners. Council commits to continue their work in reconciliation through public events, awareness raising and promotion of inclusivity.
Thank you, Councillor Charlotte. Councillor Angelino.
Partnership and economic development. Continue the Aboriginal partnership with genuine influence that can contribute to Council strategy, policy and priorities. We recognise that effective partnership sometimes requires Council to lead and at other times to stand behind and support Aboriginal leadership. Partner with the traditional owners, Dwek and Windamara, on community development projects that return benefit to country, culture and community. Implement Aboriginal procurement within Council's procurement policy that sets considerations for contracting and supply from Aboriginal-owned businesses. Commit to reducing cultural load by improving coordination of work across departments, building internal capability and ensuring consultation is respectful, purposeful and appropriately resourced. We also commit to establishing clear engagement pathways with Gunditjmara traditional owners, Aboriginal organisations and community.
Thank you, Councillor Angelino. Councillor McDonald.
Civic and environmental leadership. Upskill in management of natural assets and the environment through relevant departments of Council, partnering with the traditional owner corporations and other organisations to learn and appreciate traditional ecological knowledge into land and environmental management. Commit to creating the ongoing opportunity for naming and dual naming of roads, streets, towns, parks and key landmarks of traditional place names or that represents and recognises Gunditjmara culture with proper consultation and education. Where renaming is requested, Council will review locations on a case-by-case basis in partnership with traditional owners and the broader community, prioritising contextualisation, education and cultural safety, reflecting these inclusions within our Council naming policy. Civic leadership will be shown by Council being present at Aboriginal specific events and initiatives and through timely responses to matters of local significance. Council will respond thoughtfully to state and national developments where they directly impact the local community. Celebrate and elevate Aboriginal voices year-round through storytelling, exhibitions, local arts, awards and recognition opportunities alongside youth and community engagement.
Thank you, Councillor McDonald.
Going to vote.
Thank you, councillors. Councillors, we, the elected councillors of the Glenelg Shire, acknowledge the Gunditjmara, the Jali Jali and the Bowendik people as the traditional custodians of the lands and waters across the Glenelg Shire. Through the Strengthening Aboriginal Inclusion in Glenelg Shire 2026 to 2030, the Glenelg Shire Council Position Statement, Commitments and Actions, we affirm our responsibility to turn these commitments into practice. This statement stands as a shared commitment to country, to the community and to the future of Glenelg Shire. Councillors, what a good idea. Councillor, there's a motion on the table that's been moved by Councillor Carr and seconded by Councillor McDonald. Those in favour? That is carried. Thank you, councillors. We have the document here to sign. If you'd like to remain where you are. Thank you, CEO. We will all sign it. Okay.
26.
5. Thank you. It's in the middle.
Thank you, Councillor. Councillor Charles. There you go, Councillor Pepper. I might get one at the end here. Brett, we might get one at the end for all of us. Pepper.
Lifting.
Just lean back a bit, lean forward. It look like you're starting. Thank you. Thank you. Well done. Well done.
Councillor Cutt.
Thank you, councillors, and I'd just like to take a moment, councillors, to sincerely thank the CEO and staff for all the, this has taken a long time to put this together for us, and this is a foundation for the future councils for the Glenelg Shire, and to now have a statement which is our position with Aboriginal inclusion and strengthening within the Glenelg Shire. So thank you. Please pass on our thanks to all the staff involved. Thank you. And yes, I will date it. Thank you, CEO.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Right, what are we up to? Oh, our school report. Okay. Thank you, councillors, and thank you, everybody. 9.4 is the Victorian Government Community Satisfaction Survey. Mr Jackson, you're busy tonight.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. Yes, it would appear that way. I'm happy to present Council tonight with the results of the 2026 Community Satisfaction Survey, which provides valuable feedback from residents across the Glenelg Shire. The survey has now been conducted across Victorian councils since 1998 and helps provide a snapshot of how our community views council's performance, services and direction. This year's survey included feedback from 400 Glenelg Shire residents and covered areas such as customer service, roads, waste management, community engagement and overall value for money. Importantly, the 2026 results show a positive improvement for Glenelg Shire Council, with increased community satisfaction seen across each of the categories and an overall performance score increasing by 9 points from the last year's result. The survey results also identify opportunities for the Glenelg Shire Council to strengthen community satisfaction through ongoing engagement and continuous improvement initiatives.
Thank you, Mr Jackson. Questions, councillors? Do you have any? Councillor McDonald.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. Can I just confirm for the community how those 400 respondents are chosen and how that survey is conducted, please?
Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Mr Jackson.
Thank you for the question, Councillor McDonald. The survey is conducted by JWS, organisation that conducts community satisfaction surveys. They're recommended by the government. They're utilised by the government as well. It's really important for us to ensure that we have an independent body conduct those surveys, so they're not connected with Glenelg Shire at all. They perform the survey over 4 different increments throughout the year and then tally it up at the end and provide us with this report. It's important to acknowledge too, I think, that the survey actually contributes to a legislative requirement of council to ensure that we receive the public's feedback, particularly around community satisfaction. That leads into performance framework of the Victoria local government of Victoria as well.
And those respondents are chosen at random?
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. 100%.
Across the range of demographics?
Yep.
Yep. Great, thank you.
Excellent. Any further questions, councillors? Councillor Pepper?
I've got a statement, not a question.
Well, we'll move the. You're moving the motion then.
Rightio.
You can.
Yes.
You move the motion and then I'll let you talk to it.
Righto.
Go for it.
I'm more than happy to.
Go for it, councillor Pepper.
Righto. A recommendation on page 23 that, number one, acknowledges receives the 2026 Community Satisfactory Survey, and number two, notes the results that relate to the Glenelg Shire.
Thank you, councillor Pepper. Sorry, who was first? I missed that. I was busy writing. Councillor Jowett, you're seconding that?
Absolutely.
Thank you. Councillor Pepper.
Thanks, Madam Mayor. I'd just like to say that these results are really good, and it's I think that all of us councillors, as well as the CEO and her staff, need a bit of a pat on the back for the work that's been done with the indicators being so good here. I really am impressed with that 18 to 34 years being the highest, most satisfied. I believe that age group, they're the most active in our shire, sport-wise, and also they're also a group that are probably in the process of starting families. So I think having that age group, the highest satisfied, is a really good indicator. There is a couple of things, of course, that we need to work on. So whilst we can bathe ourselves in the glory today, tomorrow I think we've still got some work to do on a couple of those indicators as well there to make sure that it is going in the right direction across all points. Thank you, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, councillor Pepper. There's always room for improvement.
Yep.
Councillors? Councillor Jowett, would you like to make comment?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. To follow on from what Councillor Pepper was saying, we can't rest on our laurels on this report while it is good, and that looking at the summary page here, that every single metric on it is heading in upwards, which is gratifying to see that the work that we are, as a council and council staff, are doing is being recognised by the community. Thank you.
Thank you. I'll open up. Any other councillor wishing to make any comments, please? Councillor Carr.
Yeah, thanks, Madam Mayor. Look, I'd really like to touch on the customer service at 72. It's just a direct reflection of the work that our staff do out there in the community, out in front of those people that take the phone calls and sit at the counters and look at the VICs. Year on year on year, they continue to get an absolutely fantastic result in relation to the feedback we get from the community. So congratulations to them, and I would ask that yourself and the CEO pass, I'm going to say mine, but I think from all of us, a thank you for the work that they do and continue to do.
It certainly is, Councillor Carr, and you know they are the front of council on many, many occasions. They're our front office staff, and they do an amazing job. I mean, they have an understanding of so many services that we have, so that they're able to answer people's questions. And it's, you know, the highest score is coming from our 18 to 34-year-olds in customer service. So that is just a, you know, really great reflection of what we're getting right. So it is an increase in every indicator. And as Mr. Jackson has said, this is an independently done report. But, you know, it's a great outcome. So thank you. Any other comments around the table? So just to thank the CEO and just pass on to the staff our thanks and support, because this takes a team effort. I mean, as much as we've been working really hard with our community's councillors across the last 12 months, we have been. We've really dug in and worked really, really hard again this year. And, you know, the evidence is here with clear indicators of increases in every area. But it takes a team effort with the CEO and her administration and all the staff behind the scenes playing their part in achieving this report card for us. So please pass on our sincere thanks to all the staff for their input. Councillors, the motion has been put by Councillor Pepper and seconded by Councillor Jowett. Those in favour? That is carried. Thank you. Councillors, there's no urgent business, but we do have 3 questions that we received for tonight's meeting. So the question from the members of the community, Mr. Ray Dazil? Dazil. It's the South Australian accent, sorry, Ray, of Portland asked the following questions. Please find below 3 questions I would like to present to Council at the next meeting. I will also be presenting a signed petition I have gathered to show... Okay, I'll go to the questions. Sorry, I shouldn't have read that bit. Sorry, Ray. Number 1, why weren't residents in our Shire not consulted over the rollout, subsequent costs or options available to opt out of the FOGO bin scheme? If so, please present evidence. So I think, Councillor Carr, you may reflect on some of this because this was certainly in our time. The 2040 plan really showed some real evidence that people were saying, why haven't we got the green bins in our Shire? And Council started undertaking community consultation after the state government had its circular economy legislation that it passed in 2016. And our engagement, I'm told, was started in December of 2018. And subsequently, there were following when we had the resource recovery, the waste minimisation and management strategy 2019 to 2024. It was also included in the 2025-26 budget and had been introduced and endorsed by Council. Council was certainly a part of the rollout and the legislation to ensure that we had our bins rolled out by 2027. Hence 2026, we've adhered to that and we've rolled them out. I think councillors, I think there might have been a councillor that now is at the table that was a resident of Portland that continually asked questions of council about when the green waste bins was going to be rolled out continuously from the gallery to the council, and we said we have a mandate with the government to ensure that the Glenelg rolls them out by 2027, and that's what we've done. What steps, question 2, what steps are council taking to remove bins from residents who do not want or require such services and have no means to return the bins back to council properly? At this time, the service is available to all eligible properties within the compulsory curbside collection zones as part of the standardisation curbside waste system. Whether you choose to use the bin or not will not remove the charge from your annual rate charge. With the current state of the Shire's budget, how does Council justify the hastened rollout of the bins without community consult when the expiry for the schemes is not until 2030? Right. Council was committed to the environmental sustainability, and the rollout of what we call the FOGO bins was originally scheduled in 2020, but it was deferred to 2027. Council resolved to commence the transition and allows to stage and manage rollout across the municipality rather than delaying the implementation. The The FOGO and associated costs were included in the Council's annual budget process and public exhibition through the draft 2025-26 annual budget process prior to adoption. I'm happy to take any further questions if you wish after the meeting. Councillors, that concludes the formal part of our meeting for this evening. And somewhere along the line, we have a motion there in number 12 on page 24 to close the meeting to the public, please.
Happy to move, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Councillor Carr. Councillor Angelino, those in favour? Carried. Thank you. Thank you. That resumes the general part of the meeting. We do have a number of contracts and confidential items that we need to